Hit the road, Jack.
Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
What's up?
You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Sports Web. And at halftime, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a good start, but down 17-7 to the New Orleans Saints. Back here with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's go out to the guys here. And, wow, what a great start by Tom Brady. First pass, 29 yards to Chris Godwin. But once again, the issues that we kind of talked about here, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Donovan Smith showing up, plenty of pressure from this Saints defense. A guy in Trey Hendrickson, I don't even know who this guy is, but Donovan Smith making him look like a Cameron Jordan, just inexcusable.
Right, a Florida Atlantic product, but today he looks like a Hall of Fame defensive end against that swinging door, Donovan Smith at left tackle. And, you know, somebody here in the bar had made a comment. I wonder how long Tom Brady's going to allow that kind of stuff to happen on his backside.
Yeah, and guys, Blake, you talked about this. Your question was with Donovan Smith and how cohesive this offense was. Once again, you know, coming out first drive, 9 plays, 84 yards. Brady with the plunge, but after that, it'd been all Saints.
Yeah, pretty much so. It's been all Saints. Momentum swing definitely swung in their direction. They took advantage of a very aggressive defensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was their redirect to what they're doing on the defensive line, because the defensive line is getting after Brees. They're getting hands in his face. They're taking away his first reads, but they're managing to find ways to get the ball out into the flats. They did once to the wide receiver, and they did the other to Kamara. One was for a touchdown to Kamara. The other was by rushing. So the Saints are definitely giving problems to Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is not helping themselves by shooting themselves in the foot by allowing people to make easy plays with no resistance.
Yeah, bad play there by Tom Brady. It looked like a miscommunication, which is another thing that we talked about, Joshua Cole Allen, with Mike Evans and Tom Brady not necessarily knowing the offense. We're not sure if Evans gave up on the play, if he even knew he was getting the ball, but an interception by the Saints. And what happens when you have a short field? The Saints make you pay.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we've talked about, the bumps and bruises going into, this first game. They're all trying to get on the same page together, and they're going up against the Saints defense that has been together, consistently for a while. This team is still learning each other on offense. The defenses look good in spots. Obviously, they let up, 17 points already. But it's just, going back there, making the adjustment at halftime, something that Tom Brady is well known for, and coming back out on this field and turning it around in the second half.
Tampa Bay Ray, I look to you here. What kind of adjustments do you think Bruce Arians will make at halftime? Because right now, not only Donovan Smith looks like he's lost, but also Tristan Wirfs looks like he missed the block on the blocked field goal, 54 yards. So what kind of adjustments could you see Coach Arians making at halftime?
Well, didn't we say going into this game, our biggest fear was, what are they going to do with so many toys, so many cars to take out of the garage? And the Saints were making an active duty of shutting down Gronkowski in that first half. So look for the Bucs to get the ball first in the second half, try to get Gronk involved in the game, and maybe go to Leonard Fournette a little bit more to try to change things up. It almost seems like they wanted to save him for the second half anyway.
Yeah, and again, going back to this, and the Bucs are down 17-7. We're live here at the Deck Bar and Grill. We got a second half here live on the evolution of Sports Talk Television on Bucs Report, powered by 320solar.com. And it's been disappointing because, again, not only the missed field goal, the interception, but right before the half, Drew Brees, that crafty veteran, you've got to know as a young player, and it looked like the guard moved, but still, you've got to stay on side. You got a 4th and 2, an opportunity for that defense. And guys, we're not taking any calls right now. It's a halftime show. Come on, give it up. We'll do it at post game.
Lots of calls.
But you've got to stay on side at that juncture, because if you don't, then basically you give the Saints the opportunity, which they cash in with a field goal.
Right. And the thing about that was, the thing about it is that was the one thing that you were afraid of the Saints were going to start doing, was using that aggressiveness that the Bucs defensive line, and especially Devin White, they were bringing in that first half. I like the tempo on that defense, but then the Saints started figuring out a way to use that against them, the speed and their angst in there in the trenches. And so now you got to look for the Bucs to keep that attitude in the second half, but be wary of those Drew Brees tricks.
Absolutely. And guys, Joshua Cole Allen, you're live here, buddy. And Mr. Blake Anthony, again, we talked about the defense having to basically get pressure on Drew Brees. That has not happened. If you're making adjustments as Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, are you blitzing more? Because once you blitz, because Phil, they've done a great job here. Philip Swagler, editor-in-chief of Bucs Report, they've done a good job of shutting down a Michael Thomas, who came in last year with 149 receptions, not really making an impact. But if you blitz, then you give the Saints wide receivers that one-on-one coverage. Do you think that's where they go in that second half?
Yeah, I think they have to go there. I think they need to play a little bit more man-to-man coverage as far as going against the receivers and tight ends. Not so aggressive up front. I think the aggressiveness is kind of not working in their favor right now, as far as trying to digest what Drew Brees is trying to do, because he's going to pick you apart, if you give him a chance to. And I think that's what's happening right now. I think there's a lot of dropped interceptions. I think I counted like 3 or 4 on that and in that first half right there. So we need those DBs to start playing a little more handsy.
All right, Joshua Cole Allen, you're back here with Blake Anthony. We're on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television halftime edition, as the Bucs right now are losing to the Saints 17-7. It's the mental mistakes. I get it. A lot of people texting me right now saying Brady doesn't throw interceptions. Yes, he doesn't throw 30 interceptions, but once again, you can't turn over the ball and expect to win, even against a great Saints team. Blake, what do you do if you're defensive coordinator Todd Bowles to put more pressure on a Drew Brees?
To put more pressure on him, you got to take away his first reads, as I said in pregame. He's doing the same exact thing. He stares down his first read, and he starts panicking. He tries to get the ball out of his hands as fast as he can. Fortunately for him, he's been able to slip it out into those screen passes, again, as we said earlier, taking advantage of aggressive defense. But you don't want to give up the honey spot as I would call him, Drew Brees, is those inside passes, what they tried earlier to Michael Thomas, where she got nailed by Jordan Whitehead and was out for a couple of plays. Well, I ain't gonna say he was in the game, but he was hurting. They've been good at not giving up those, but you got to get to Drew Brees. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
They're getting there. JPP got his hand on Drew Brees' foot, which forced the error throw. Again, Jordan Whitehead was penalized for a defensive pass interference call. There was a dropped interception, as Phil said earlier, on that same play. But it's capitalizing on the opportunities that you get and not letting opportunities slip through your fingers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, this is the thing that I get upset about, Phil, and you can comment on this, and everybody can comment on this. The interference, I get it. Jordan Whitehead has him, but then it looks like before the half, they don't call the pass interference, and it clearly looks like the defender makes contact with Godwin. All I'm saying is if the refs are going to call it one way, call it the other. Be consistent.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be consistent, then you're wasting my freaking time.
Yeah, I think we saw this against Seattle in 2016 when you had Richard Sherman going against Mike Evans. Excuse me. Let the guys play. Let them play the ball. But if it's blatantly obvious and it's right there, right in front of you, why do you not call it when you're calling against the opposite side? That's what I don't understand that last one.
Yeah, and I mean, guys, they've tried to run the ball with a Ronald Jones. He really hasn't had much success. You like the game plan. Can you see them shifting their focus to passing the ball more? Do they continue with the Jones? And if Jones doesn't get it done, can you see them possibly get more of Leonard Fournette in this offense?
My advice, if I'm those guys in the locker room talking about play calling, is that they're putting bodies and hands on Rob Gronkowski. So if you're occupying two guys on defense to eliminate 87, that means you got to get the ball to the backs out in space. You got to force those guys in one-on-ones. You got to force those guys to make the first defender miss. You got to make those first defenders miss. That's how you get your extra yards, and that's how you're going to make this offense move and take some of the heat off of Tom Brady.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, you gotta get these backs in space and let them do what they do best. We still haven't seen Shady out there. Leonard Fournette only has 2 carries. You need to get them more involved in this game to set up those play action in that passing game.
Yeah, Mike Evans to me has not been a factor. That injury definitely could be hampering him, right, Phil?
Yeah, I think so too. And honestly, I think that miscommunication that they had with Brady for that interception, I think that's kind of playing a role too. Maybe the injuries, kind of sitting on that too. But Scotty Miller, okay, that's starting to look like a guy that Tom Brady might be really comfortable with. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, to me, you've got to get Evans into this game. You got to figure out, because Marshawn Lattimore and him, really a spirited matchup, and Lattimore is always giving him a problem. So you're going to have to find out what this offense is all about right now. The Saints are beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at halftime, 17-7. We're here live from the Deck Bar and Grill on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, Bucks Report Twitch channel, which hopefully we have more than one viewer. So with that being said, give you an update here on other Tampa Bay sports. The Tampa Bay Lightning defeat the New York Islanders 4-1. I believe that is game 4 there. So now they take a commanding 3-1 lead over the Islanders. So we will see you we'll see you in the post-game edition of the Evolution. For Joshua Cole, Allen, Blake Anthony, Philip Swagler, and Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, I'm your host, Peter Blake. Enjoy the second half of the game.
Peace.
You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense.